What we're going to be doing over the next 45 minutes is I'm actually going to be sharing with you strategies that are actually working today to be able to help you to have patients know that you can help them, right? And I don't know how many of you are using marketing agencies or you've been running Facebook ads yourself, perhaps, and you're noticing that things are getting really expensive right now and things are getting really difficult. And in my experience, what is happening and in my research and what the data shows is that based on changes, for example, iOS updates with Facebook, for example, targeting options that were available before or what was working before is no longer working because of privacy rules. And so now people were able to send out ads and now the iPhone is not allowing it. And so a lot of people have been sharing their frustrations. And so they're like, well, I'm not sure what to do, right? I don't know if you guys have had that experience. And so what we're going to be sharing today are frameworks that you can use. Again, I love to teach in frameworks for marketing that's actually working. And I will tell you just, a little bit with this particular presentation. I really want you to understand the power of social, but what actually works. And in terms of marketing, I will say this. So I don't know if any of you have followed me in the past. Again, I teach on leadership and systems and profitability and how do you become fee for service. But originally, when I started speaking a lot in the industry, I was known for what we were doing in my practice with marketing. And we had 50,000 people following my practice's Facebook page, getting 50 patients a month from social media, and we're only spending about $500. And so I've been testing this stuff for probably the last 15 years when Facebook just kind of got started. And so for me, I will define what marketing means to me as a dentist, as a practice owner. There are marketer definitions, and sometimes I wear that hat as well. I've spoken at marketing conferences. I've been featured in marketing books. But for me as a real dentist, the question is, how do we build an army of raving fans? How do we build marketing that we cannot turn off? Like if we can get our patients marketing for us, if we can have our community marketing for us, then guess what? We don't have to pay Google anymore. We don't have to spend $5,000 a month on mailers. Like it's crazy insane how much I hear that people are spending on marketing. Why? Because we want to attract patients. We want to be able to help them. But again, sometimes it's just lack of knowledge that there's another way. And so we just do what we feel or have heard or what we think works, right? But ultimately, for me, like what I'm going to share today is how can we create that army where our patients are telling other patients and those patients are telling other patients. And even now we have, and I've got 3 associates, but we've got 100, 150 patients coming in a month. And the interesting thing is I would say 80% of them are coming from existing patients, like 80%. So how do we do that? Like people are like, oh, that's so great. Like you've been doing this a long time. I'm just getting started. Like you can do that, but I can't do that. So that's what I want to share today, if that's okay, is like, if you're just getting started and maybe you don't even have a social media presence at all, like what can you do now? What can you do today to be able to collapse timeframes and to be able to get the same results? Because ultimately, that's where we're leading. We want people talking about us, for us. We want an army of fans, right? And that's the marketing that I feel is very powerful, because when those patients come in, then what happens is that they already know us, whether they know us or not. And our case acceptance is higher because, just like Lynn spoke about in the other presentation, in case acceptance, it's all about rapport. And so it's really interesting as we start thinking about marketing. If I were to think about it, if I were to meet you at a restaurant, or maybe we're at the bar or whatever, and I'm like, hey, I'm Dr. Anissa Holmes. I'm a dentist. Here's my business card. You want to come and see me? I can help you. Do you want to be a patient? Right? The patient or the person next to me might be like, okay, weirdo, like, or no, thank you. And like, just turn their head. Right. But if instead I'm like, hi, I'm Anissa. How are you? Nice to meet you. Tell me a little bit more about you. Like, do you have kids, or like, how long you've been in an area, or what do you do for a living? And they're like, oh, I'm a real estate agent. Oh, cool. What about you? Oh, I'm a dentist. Oh, really? I've been thinking about having a dentist. I've been thinking, let me ask you a question. I'm like, yeah, sure. Da, 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 da. Like, here's what we've been able to do to help other patients. And like, this is really cool. And yeah, and the next thing you know, they're coming in, right? So the question is, how do we build that rapport? Like, how do we do that digitally? How do we do that online so that when people come in, they're ready to go? Like, they're ready to go, right? So we're going to talk about that, and also how to leverage partners, strategic partners. Again, another vehicle to be able to bring patients to us without us having to actually do the work, right? So partners are going to be other small businesses in your community, other doctors, other business owners. How do we leverage them so that we can grow faster? So a little bit of my story. I didn't share this in the other presentation, but I'm a rural dentist, graduated in '99 from UAB dental school. I had a practice in Birmingham for about 7 years. And after about 7 years, I actually moved. And when I moved to restart my practice with my then husband, who's an oral surgeon, I wound up creating a new practice. Now, I was at that point where I didn't have any extra money. In fact, like, I couldn't get a loan for my practice. And so I wound up building my practice on credit cards. And I did the floating credit card game, like, use this credit card, because I had a dream. Like, I was going to figure it out, right? Like, how can I build this practice? Oh, I'm not getting a loan. I'm going to build this practice. I'm going to be the #1 practice known for delivering amazing law experiences. Like, I'm going to change lives. Like, this was going to happen. Like, it's going to work, or it's going to work, right? And so this was actually a drawing of me sketching out. Like, I was literally on the floor with the drywaller guy. I'm like, here's how I want this wall to be, because I had plans for my practice, my first practice. Like, it was just crazy, right? And so I had to figure out, and this was my first practice. And that practice, I live in Florida now. That practice was actually in Jamaica. That's why I couldn't get a loan. I'm American. I couldn't get a loan. And it was like 700 square feet. And I said, I have got to figure this out. Okay. And so I made a decision. That was when Facebook just started. I was probably one of their first users. And I started online, and I started to say, how can I get 10 patients a month, 20 patients a month, 30 patients a month, 50 patients a month? And we winded up figuring it out. And so 2 years later, with the help of systems and building the right team, but really the marketing was a part of it. We were able to get out of that practice, and I became debt free, and it's been really cool. And it's been awesome teaching marketing. I also have had an opportunity to spend a lot of time training directly under Russell Brunson, who is the founder of ClickFunnels, which is all about how do we create digital funnels. And we've done at least $6 million in my dental practice with marketing funnels. I'm actually featured in his book about my dental practice, Expert Secrets. So I'm going to be sharing with you today the actual framework, ClickFunnels, actually, and I'll share with you today a little bit about what a funnel is. But they actually hired me to develop the brick and mortar funnel framework for marketing, to train marketers, to be able to help people like us. So I'm really excited to actually share this framework directly with you. All right, so the framework is really all about, again, what is the outcome that we desire, okay? The outcome is not to send emails. The outcome is not to do Facebook Lives. The outcome is not to do marketing. The outcome is to have people know who we are so we can help them. Like, that's the outcome, right? So how can we do that in a really great way that doesn't really cost money or much money? Most of the people that are using this strategy, and I've trained and helped and coached hundreds and hundreds of practices, and it works. Okay. And so based on that, I developed this framework. And so the key starts on the left, right? And what we're doing here is we're actually taking people, that's my award for all of for what we've done with implant funnels and Invisalign funnels. But it really starts with like, how do we get the fans? It comes from, and what is a funnel? Okay. So a funnel means that have people who don't know who you are, and all of a sudden they are aware of who we are. Okay. And all of a sudden they start to engage with us, right? Next thing you know, they're a patient, and ultimately the goal is to make them a fan. So that's really what a funnel is, right? And a funnel for me actually doesn't end there. It becomes an hourglass, because once we create a raving fan, the goal is that it flips and they tell more people, and those people tell more people, and those people tell more people, right? So that's really the process. And again, like, why are we here? This particular patient, his name is Mr. Chen. I don't know if you guys have had Mr. Chen in your practice, but he came into my practice and he wanted to improve his smile. And the first thing he said was, if you fix my teeth, it's going to pay for your car. Anybody have a Mr. Chen? And has he been to your practice? Right? Well, I said, Mr. Chen, you know what? To be honest with you, I'm actually all right. But let me say this. We change people's lives in our office. We change their smiles. And when we're finished with our patients, many of them, they literally start to cry. And if that's what you're looking for, then you're in the right place. He came back a few weeks later and he actually apologized. And he said, I was a little nervous. And honestly, I was just trying to test you to see what you would say. Isn't that interesting? Sometimes patients are just testing us. So when they say, can you get a discount? Sometimes they have the money. They're just curious if they ask if you're going to say yes, right? And he said, but honestly, I've been watching you for a long time on social media. I've actually referred people to you, but I was afraid. And finally, I watched a video of a patient sharing their experience, and it gave me the courage to walk through the door. And so I want to say thank you. And yes, you've changed my life. Right? And so this is why what we're doing right now in this moment in time is so important. Because what you're learning is not going to just change your life because your business is going to grow. It changes our patients' lives, right? And so one of the things that we always start with, how do we create that awareness? And one of the simplest things that you can do, and you can start this right away, like literally today, is starting with this process of doing what I call Facebook Live Q&As. Literally picking up your phone. And the cool thing about now is, like, we don't have to spend $1 bazillion doing ads to run on NBC, CBS, or ABC. Like, we have a television station right here. We have a publisher right here, right? And so picking up your phone, doing a Facebook Live. Hi, it's Dr. Anissa Holmes. Today, I'm here to talk to you about the right age to take your child to the dentist. Maybe you decide that you want to implement a new service. Maybe you're getting into doing sleep. So today, I'm going to talk to you about snoring and why snoring is actually not normal. Before we do, let me tell you a little bit about our practice and what we're known for. We're known for seeing our patients on time. We're known for delivering an amazing experience, and we're known for changing patients' lives. Or we're known for a beautiful, natural-looking dentistry, right? Question, where are you joining in from? Can you type in the comments? By the way, comments on Facebook, it's a hack. Facebook looks at them, or it doesn't look at them. Facebook, the computer, the algorithm sees comments, and it sees that people are interested, and it posts it into more people's newsfeed. So, like, that's a hack, right? And so you can start doing Facebook Live Q&As. You can say, we all know a brother, a sister, a cousin somebody who would be helped by watching this video. So if you can do me a huge favor and just share this video, it just might change someone's life. And so these are all free strategies. Like, I haven't even talked about running ads, right? Giveaways are great. What type of giveaways? For me, I see people doing things like, oh, let me give away a Yeti cooler or tickets to a Miami Dolphins game. And that's awesome. But for me, the biggest gift that we can give is our gift of giving someone a beautiful smile. And so if we're a general dentist, giving away a small makeover, if we're a pediatric dentist, giving away free dentistry for a year for a kid, right? If we're an orthodontist, giving away a case where you can beautify someone's smile. Like, we did that. I had my Delivering Well Summit, my dental summit 3 years ago. It was in Jamaica. And we actually had somebody that we identified. I don't know how many of you guys know Elijah Desmond, but he went to speak at a school. And when he went to speak at a school, there was a girl covering her mouth, and he was going as a motivational speaker. And they came back to him. She says, all I want to do is, she was crying, is have confidence with my smile. Well, we did a smile makeover. Well, it wasn't something that we even publicized, but at this year's event, she was 3 years older, and we share pictures of her transformation, and she's beautiful. Like, I took care of the cost of the actual materials, and an orthodontist was willing to, at no cost, and give his time. And we changed this person's life. Like, transforming and doing a small makeover and using social to actually have people apply is huge. I'll share with you a little bit how. Video customer testimonials. So these are, again, patients coming on. How do we get testimonials? They're super easy. This is how it works. Number one, you give people a great experience. You intentionally reverse engineer. What can I do? Have team meetings talking about how you can just love on your people so much. How can you love on your patients so much, right? How can you do that? And interestingly, it doesn't cost very much. It can be, you have kids go to the toy box before and say, the reason why we do that is we know so many kids are, the reason why we do that is because we want to make friends with the kids first. And if we make friends with them, then now when we go to the back, we'll be able to get the work done easier and quicker for them, and it'll be better for them. And the mom's like, oh my God. And then they go tell other people, right? It could be that we are having a coffee table coffee book that shows what we are doing to serve the community, before and after pictures, team pictures of the team doing training, right? It could be that we give a tour from the front to the back office, pointing out, even if you don't have anything but a $50 intro camera from eBay, or like, you point it out, and you point out your core values on the wall. And at the end, you ask, how was your experience today? You have your hygienist first ask, how was your experience today? I come in, hi, I'm Dr. Anissa Holmes. Nice to meet you. Before we go through the case acceptance questions, let me tell you a little bit about what we're known for. We're known for seeing our patients on time. We're known for giving a great experience. Why? I am intentionally putting in people's minds what I want them to say about us. We're known for seeing our patients on time. How do we do that? If we're running late, we call them and let them know we're running late. It's not that hard, right? We're known for delivering an incredible experience, and we're known for our technology. We have iTero, Trio scanners, all of the things. Or we're known for community impact. Every year we do a free small makeover. We treat 100 kids for free. We build whiteboards, put whiteboards in schools. Like, let people know what you're known for. That's what they tell their friends and family and cousins and sisters and brothers and coworkers. So everything is marketing, guys. And then at the end, the front desk says, how was your experience? It was awesome. Great. Can you do me a huge favor? There's so many people that want to go to that are afraid to go to the dentist. Would you be willing to just allow us to take a quick video where you just share your experience? Pause. It just might change someone's life. It's that pause, the power of the pause is the same pause as like, why now? Why not next year? Why not last year when we're presenting treatment, right? So now we have that testimonial. It can go on to our social media page. It can go to our Facebook page. By the way, you can actually upload all of these to Google My Business. And when people are searching, the video or post are also able to be shown on the right-hand side. It's a free hack that many people don't know about. You can upload them to YouTube. You can have all of these on your YouTube channel, right? which helps you with your SEO and search. Community engagement campaigns, I love these, and this is monthly. Maybe you are doing a clothing drive, maybe it's January and saying Christmas is over, or maybe it's right now. You're doing a school supply drive. Maybe in May, you're doing a book drive to collect books. Maybe you're doing a small makeover. Maybe you're doing a Valentine's giveaway, Mother's Day, like doing something where you involve the community, where you're staying top of mind is very, very important. And again, all of these are opportunities to create content where people are getting to know who you are. This is building rapport, okay? From there, you will have the ability to send people to do something, okay? The do something is call for an appointment, or better, here is where you can schedule an online appointment. Why? Because it's perhaps nighttime, or perhaps they can't get through to your phone. That's another conversation, right? Or even better, you can have them to submit, take a quiz to see if they're a candidate for the procedure. And I'm going to show you what that looks like. And you have the ability to collect their email, so that now you can continue to send them emails about your practice, about the service that they're inquiring about. And then after you collect their email and say, take this quiz, when it says, click here to find out if you're a candidate, that's where you put the online scheduling link. And so if they're ready to schedule, they're scheduling. And if they're not ready to schedule, you get their email. And that's what the funnel is. So if you've not yet heard of a funnel, all it means is I want to get someone's email address so I can stay in contact with them. That's all it means. And so once you have that email, you can send them a monthly email about, you could see here the 6-part email sequence. So where are we sending them to when they're doing the Facebook Lives or the giveaways? We can send them to a quiz. And I'll share what that looks like. You can send them to read this article. Maybe on the article page, it has a little link to schedule an appointment. Maybe it could be a special offer if you choose. I don't love that option, but that option is available. And again, now that we have their email, we can send them emails. We can send them, maybe we're talking about implants. Maybe we're talking about clear aligners. Maybe we're talking about financial options, right? And so take this quiz to see if you could qualify for financing. I mean, there's just so many options, but once you do that, again, you're able to give them emails about whatever they were inquiring about. Okay, you can send monthly newsletters. I love that. Again, we want to always stay top of mind. So the monthly newsletter that I love will have an image of what we did last month for the community. It will talk about what we're doing this current month. So maybe we're going to do a 30-day floss challenge for our patients where they can commit to flossing for 30 days. And we can maybe have an educational article and a button to schedule a call to make an appointment. All right. So that those emails can go out to our existing patients and to people that we've grabbed their emails online. Does that make sense? Yes. All right. And the beauty of all of this is that you're like, maybe this is sounding like a bit much, Anissa. This is like stage 3. I'm just kind of give you an overview of what's possible, right? And if you have monthly newsletters, then what happens is if you are doing your Facebook Lives, you can even take a screenshot of your Facebook Live, and you can actually email your list and say, I've just done a new Facebook Live. I've talked about the best age to take your kids to the dentist. You send them back to that Facebook Live on your Facebook page. And now people from your email list are just filtering through and putting in more views for your Facebook Live, again, at 0 cost. Okay. Is that making sense? Do you guys see how this would be like super helpful? So I'm going to give you guys some practical examples of how this works. Yeah. So I'm just kind of looking here. Okay. So it says, did you use a before and after picture with a small makeover software? No, I don't use a software. I'm not sure. If you can just clarify your question, that'd be awesome. So this is an example of the Facebook Live Q&A. So you can see here, this is a doctor that's in New York. And she said, we're chatting about everything new parents should know about baby's oral health. Okay. From the first dentist visit to what to do when the baby is teething. We're accepting new patients. So if you are not yet getting into, like you have level A, level B, level C, where you can collect emails. It doesn't matter. Like start somewhere. It doesn't even matter. So they're like, visit, that's their website, or call us at, we can't wait to meet you, right? Or if they had an online scheduling link, it could have been put there. Or step 3 is having the ability to say, click here to take a quiz and see if you're a candidate, or take a quiz, and then they get the email, etc. So like the step A, B, C, no matter what you want to accomplish, there's a solution for you. Okay. Here's another one. It's Two Talk Thursday. We're going to be talking about whitening. And you can see here at the bottom, it's getting 1,000 views, 1.2 thousand views. Okay. So this is really, really powerful. Now, what we're doing is we are building repetition. And if you think about it, like if you pass a billboard from your home to, or from your office to your house, right? Like, it's so interesting. I'm from New Orleans, and there's an orthodontist that is, they must have like 20 billboards in New Orleans, like within a 20-mile radius. Like they're everywhere. There's no way not to see them. Okay. So, but if they just had one, I probably wouldn't be aware of them. Like it would just kind of go in and out. Or like the first time we've heard a commercial, we don't remember. But like if we see the commercial like over and over again, then we remember. And so that's what we're looking at, is how do we create repetition? And so those Two Talk Thursdays are really, really helpful. Okay. Other things that are really powerful, again, are giveaways. And here's some examples of the results of these giveaways. So typically when I'm working with a practice and they have 0 presents, this is where we start. Two Talk Thursdays and a small giveaway. Why? Because of the strategy. Now, why are we doing the giveaway? Okay. There's 2 reasons. There is the marketing reason, strategic reason, and I'll share with you the strategy. Let me just share with you the real benefit of what really happens with these giveaways. Okay. And look at the results. Like that's me in my practice. It's time for Project Smile, 554 likes, 71 comments, 135 shares. The one in the middle is a practice in Australia that followed our framework, 916 likes. The one on the right is a practice in Washington State, actually they had 40,000 views. This video got this amount of views at the bottom. There were even more. This patient here came in and she wanted to have implants. Okay. She had deciduous teeth on the side, and I had treatment planned her a year prior for implants. Now, at that point, I did not have the knowledge of what I have now of case acceptance, right? And so I'm like, this is what you need. Da, da, da. Like I didn't take time to really understand where she was in her life. But when she came back the second time, she said, I'm going to China in 3 days or next week to teach English. You got to do something for me. These kids are going to tease me. Like, look at my smile. I cannot afford implants. Do you have any other way to help me? We were actually in the process of starting our Project Smile. I went to my team. I'm like, she's going to be one of our candidates. We took out her baby teeth, and the next day gave her a flipper that cost like nothing. 2-3 days later, her husband calls and says, can I come in? He was a musician, and I want to do something for your team. He is literally playing his saxophone. He is crying. And he's like, you gave me my wife back. And he's singing, and you are so beautiful to me. Like he's singing to his wife, like chills. Like this is what builds a healthy culture, right? We're Facebook Live and him playing the saxophone. Like it's insane. Like that's why we do what we do, right? And on the strategic side, it is powerful because we pick up our phone and we say, hi, it's Dr. Anissa Holmes. I'm here today to share something that is going to literally change someone's life. Now, before we get started, if you can do me a favor and just tell me where you're watching from, that would be incredible. So people are putting the comments, so it's getting into more news feeds. Let me tell you a little bit about what we're known for. We're known for, again, why are we telling people what we're known for? So that they can tell other people what we're known for. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to give away a small makeover. And how it works is that you will send us an email to transform@jcdsmiles.com. And what we're going to do is we are going to have 3 people come in. We're going to do a cleaning and we'll choose a final winner. Now, here's the thing. Pause. Some people have been born with a beautiful smile. Others have the ability to have been able to afford it. But we all know a brother, a sister, a cousin, a friend who wasn't. And so if you can do me a huge favor and just share this with everyone that you know, it just might change someone's life. Again, we're grateful for you to be able to watch this video. We look forward to watching your stories. Like, guys, it is powerful. People will share this. Do me a favor and share it with everyone. And now you've got 20, imagine now you've got like, how many people share this? The numbers there? Like you'll have like 100 people sharing it, 200 people sharing it. It's crazy. And between the shares and the comments, it just goes viral. It's crazy, guys. Like, then another strategy, this is really interesting. So I wanted to be able to organically get more visibility to my page. And so what we did was I challenged myself. I'm like, can we do something that we can get other strategic partners to market for us and get a bunch of visibility to our page and not pay for ads? You notice I haven't talked about ads. Okay. Like that's another lecture. That's part B. You guys will have to invite me back, Catapult, and we'll talk about ads. But this is all free stuff. And so you go to other businesses, you ask for them to donate gift cards, gift certificates, and you'll promote them. And you've chosen them because they're a great business, just like you, that cares about people in the community, just like you. And so every day you give away a gift card, and to enter, you ask people to share, and to enter, they type in the word of the day. Now you've got all of this organic. Now, here's what happens. Once you decide to run ads, okay, again, not very difficult to do, okay, then now what happens is that anybody that's watched your videos or anybody who has commented, you can now retarget them on Facebook. And those are the people that now get to see your post about you talking about procedures. Okay. This particular doctor, we actually run some boot camps. I spoke about boot camp earlier, or when we did our other session. I'll share information about it again at the end. But we did a free program, a marketing challenge, and this office is in New York. And they had 290 people share their campaign about their summer giveaway, 22,000 views, 0 ads. 290 people share their practice's Facebook page, 369 comments. And what happened, they got 2 new patients every single day and more scheduled Saturday and the next week, all from this campaign. In addition to a few other word of mouth new patients, one was a $30,000 case that they closed that particular day. Like, this stuff works, guys. And again, now that people keep seeing it, then when you start putting out ads for implants and Invisalign cosmetic dentistry, people have seen you already. This is building digital rapport. Okay, so video testimonials, I've shared how to get those, posting them on social media, right? Doing community engagement campaigns where people can, again, donate clothes, bring in your clothes to our practice. We are here to serve our community. It shows that your practice is different. Everybody does teeth. They expect that. Why would somebody come to you? Because you're different. You're a unicorn. Like everybody who's on this call, you're different. We're different, right? And when we do different things, we get different results, right? And so I love this. We got clothes. We donated to Missionaries of Poor. The next month, we treated the brothers for free and did a free dental day for the brothers. And we promoted that on social or posted photos of that we're doing a free dental day for the brothers of the Missionaries of the Poor, right? February, doing coloring contests where you can involve your patients. Remember, we want to involve our patients and we want to involve our community. So with our patients, we can give them the coloring sheet. On social, we can give them a link to download the coloring sheet and post a photo, or better yet, we can have a funnel where they have to give us their email and then we give them the coloring sheet, right? So now we can continue to market to that. And so then we wind up sending out emails. These are examples of emails and flyers and how do we promote these campaigns with some of the materials that we provide in our programs. But yeah, you're able to, this is a 30-day floss challenge. You can post around your practice. This is how you get your patients involved. You send your patients an email so they are aware of what's going on. And again, you also use social media. So now you can have your patients and your community involved in your marketing. I love the 30-day floss challenge because the patients download it, they commit to flossing, they post a photo of it, and they can now put it in their mirror in their bathroom to remind them to continue to floss. Okay, so again, the content machine is awareness, engage, patient, and fan. And again, how else can we create content? Photos that are showing what you're doing in the community. If you're having a spirit day, free dental days, if you're out serving the community is really, really powerful ways to be able to get out there. A missing link for many people, though, are understanding the boosting posts. And I'm not going to spend time on this today, but I want you to become aware. Like, you're not going to learn how to do all of your marketing in a 1-hour session. But what I want you to do is at least become aware of what's possible. And so what's possible with social is that, again, you can go to the back end of Facebook into Ads Manager, and you can now target people based on the street that they live on, their net income, if they have previously, and this is what it looks like in the back end. You can create these audiences of people that have visited your website. You can even upload your patient list, like email list. You can target people that have watched your videos, commented. And now that when you go to boost or your team, you've got that drop down list that you can just click really quickly. If you choose to boost a post, you can see there left a drop down list, which is really powerful. And then you can now start, which is really cool, creating ads that are all about specific procedures. I love this one. This is a dental assistant in my office doing a Tooth Talk Thursday about Invisalign. Is Invisalign a good option? She has a prop, so people are drawn to look at it and watch the video. You can see here 17,000 views, 30 shares, 16 comments. Really powerful. We did have this linking to a funnel. So this is what it looks like. So it said, if you want to know if you're a candidate, take the quiz. They went to the quiz where it said learn more. And we did go all the way through to step 3. They can put in their, take the quiz on the left. And then on the right-hand side, you can see there that we are asking for their email and they get an email. Again, another great thing is to utilize Google My Business. And just want to share this really quickly. It's most people are not aware of it. You can take videos, you can take posts that you're posting on social media, and you can actually go there into Google My Business, log into your Google My Business, go into post, and you can actually post there, which is pretty cool. All right. Again, really powerful and really powerful for established practice owners, startups. This is a startup who had zero presence, just showing you what's possible. And they started following my framework, just coming on, sharing your story. And by the time they opened their practice, they had 14,000 views, 22 comments, 92 shares, just by being consistent. We actually had patients to join a VIP list where we're able to collect their email and market to them, which was really, really cool. So just wanted to share those few things with you guys. I think we're pretty much coming to the end of my time. Unfortunately, I can talk forever, but really powerful stuff. What happens with this organic marketing? You can see here, this startup used this formula. She was booked out for 2 weeks. Just really powerful things that are happening with marketing. So hopefully that was helpful for you, gave you an insight to what's possible, some tips, some pearls. If you have any questions, I have like maybe a minute. All right, guys, thank you so much for taking time and giving me your time. That is the biggest resource that I can provide for you. If there's anything else that you need, feel free to reach out to me on Facebook. I am super available and happy to answer any questions at any time. You're welcome. I'm going to turn it over to my great friend, Dr. Leonard Towle, and he's going to share his pearls on marketing. I hope you guys are enjoying this with Catapult. I know I'm having a great time.
Okay, Anissa is the bomb when it comes to social media. She definitely knows her stuff. I highly recommend using her tips and tricks. But I come in from a different aspect of things. I call this session Dominate Your Marketing Online. I do this in 4 hours normally. I've had to cut the content down to 45 minutes. So we're going to cover some foundational things you need to do to dominate your marketing online. Once again, as Anissa said, please reach out to me afterwards if you have any further questions. But it's called Dominate Your Marketing Online. Marketing is an expense, not an investment, not an expense. It's a must-have strategic tool to increase sales, not a nice-to-have frill when you can afford it. You have to spend the money to market your practice. There isn't a choice here anymore, guys. But just a little bit about my background in case you don't know. I bought a practice from a dentist in 2007 who had committed suicide. And I gutted the building, I purchased the building, purchased the practice, rebranded the practice, and went and learned my own online. I learned how to market my practice online. And here I am 15 years later, and I've been teaching dentists for 10 years how to do it. I started a review software product called iSocial Reviews in 2013, and Bird Eye bought my company from me in 2014. So I've run Bird Eye's dental division for the last 8 years. I will talk about Bird Eye for a small little couple of minutes towards the end of the presentation. But I practice reputational marketing or reputation marketing. It's what I've learned. It's what I teach. So we're going to be talking about a couple of things today, which I'll talk about in a couple seconds. But the most important thing here is to know that anything that you do, any type of marketing you do, whether it's paid search, which we call Google AdWords, or organic search, which we call search engine optimization, or any type of display advertising, or any type of social media, if you don't have reviews, you're wasting your money. The reputation enhances the performance, and you'll get a much better result if you have the reviews to basically run your business. So this is a template that, and I didn't create that. Well, excuse me, I created the template, but I didn't name it. It's called the Tau template. A couple of my clients named it and it just stuck. But these are the things I normally talk about: superior customer service and a great patient experience, an interactive and well-positioned website, a stellar online reputation found during local search, a well-managed paid advertising campaign, a well-branded social media campaign, both written and video blogging, and tracking goals. If you check all of these boxes, you will do extremely well with your marketing online. But today, because of a limited time, we're going to take a sample of a couple of these, 2 of them. So we're going to start with websites. So again, these are foundational things. You have to have a well-positioned and interactive website in order to be successful. You cannot be successful without one. Okay. On top of that, you need visibility online and credibility online. And that's the other topics that we're going to be talking about in the short time that I have. So let's talk about website. It is your marketing hub. It's your online billboard. It literally is where you're going to send everybody to that is looking at your office online. You want to send them to your website. So it must be interactive. You cannot have a brochure-like site, and it needs to be frequently updated because that's what Google says. You need a frequently updated site. More frequent updates, the higher you generally rank. And the reason why you need to be interactive is because you have 8 seconds to capture their attention. Okay. If you don't give them something to look at in 8 seconds, they're going to leave. They're going to go somewhere else. If they're not engaged, they're going to go to another office. So these are some key elements when designing a website. They want to know who you are and what you do. Simple, who you are and what you do in the practice. You have to have a call to action on every single page, which we'll talk about. You want there to be a great user experience. So what I suggest you do is go on your website or go on the mobile site and pretend you're a user. See what the user experience is like. If it's not great, tell your web company to fix it. You need lots of video content galore, videos for SEO purposes, patient testimonial videos. I call them trustimonials. Video of like a welcome video on the homepage, a video of you, the doctor, speaking. You need tons of video on your website. You need an easy way to contact the office. Don't make it difficult. You need to make sure your copyright date is updated. Excuse me. So we're in 2022 right now. Okay. You want to make sure that your website at the bottom says 2022, not 2017. That's really important. And you want to have something that's called a low bounce rate. And you can get this information from your website company and ask them, hey, what is our bounce rate? So what a bounce is, someone goes on your website, they look around, and they click on nothing and they go away. That is called a bounce. Okay. If somebody goes on your website, they look around and they click on a link or look at a video, that's not a bounce. And that that lowers the rate. So you want to have as low of a bounce rate as possible. Again, you can get this information from your website company, and they usually do that through Google Analytics, but you need to have a low bounce rate. So this is the new owner of my office's website. Okay. Just to kind of show you, and usually I talk about the different versions of the websites we have, but this is the current site that we're using in the office. I have, like I said, about 5 months left in my clinical career. So I wanted to point out some mistakes that web designers make, or I believe they make when building a website. So buried contact information. The doctor's name, address, telephone number, and email addresses must be above the fold, ideally upper right or upper left. You need that. So here are some examples of offices. So this was a friend of mine in New Jersey, and you can actually see on the left side, they say we've moved. See our contact page for directions. They don't put their new address or their existing address anywhere. You have to click on it, click somewhere to see it. Way too complicated. You want to make sure your name, address, and phone number is extremely visible at the top of the page. This was a periodontist in New Jersey, or excuse me, in Pennsylvania that I reached out to, and I couldn't find her phone number. I could not find the information about where she was. So I eventually had to click on contacts to find it. You don't want to make it difficult for your patients to get the information about where the practice is located. You need to have a call to action button on every single page. So having one is a problem. So what is a call to action button? Well, this is the old website, and you can see there's on the upper right-hand side, there's a button that says book online. Okay. On the lower left or the middle left, there's another one that says book online. So we have these book online links or clickable links all over the website because we want our patients to book an appointment online. So just so you know, so when someone clicks on that link, it pulls up this. I use a product called Local Med, also owned by Dental Intelligence. That's what we use in the office. When they click on it, they can say they're a new patient or a returning patient and what they want to come in for. Now, we do not allow patients to schedule crowns and fillings. They're only able to schedule an initial exam and cleaning, a returning patient exam or cleaning, or some type of consultation. That's all we allow. But if they're a returning patient, they clicked on emergency tooth, you'll see the schedule just appears and the patients can actually make an appointment and it automatically goes into the practice management software. We do have a couple of rules, and I always get this question, so I'll state it. When somebody books this way, we call them immediately. If they pick up, we tell them we need our forms filled out ahead of time if they're a new patient. If they fill out the forms, the appointment's confirmed. If they don't fill out the forms, we cancel the appointment so they don't come in. If we have a patient and we can't reach them on the phone, we call them a second time. If we can't reach them on the phone a second time, we cancel the appointment. This eliminates the ability for people to no-show on us. But you have to have this type of call to action button on your website to be able to book an appointment. If it says make an appointment and it sends an email back to the front desk and the front desk has to follow up with them, that's a complete waste of everybody's time. I would not recommend that. So if you want, and by the way, when they make the appointments, on the right-hand side is what you get. You get an appointment has been scheduled, what they want to come in for, what their name and email address is, and if they have insurance. So this is what is provided to the practice after the patient makes the appointment. So on the left-hand side, there's a QR code. If you want more information about Dental Intelligence, you can actually scan this code and it will give you the option to reach out for a demo from them. So this is the Local Med QR code. I have these throughout the presentation as well. So love Local Med, love any type of scheduling platform. You need one on your website. Okay. So not having doctor and team photos and bios. So this was an office not far from where I practice. And the guy basically says, here I am. Here are my team members, Elizabeth, Kelly, Liz, and Sonia, with no photos, no anything. You need to have a nice team photo and a photo of the doctors and team members like this. So these are my team members. This is Michelle and Alex, or they were my team members, Michelle and Alex. But this is what you want your page to look like. You want them to dress appropriately. You want them to look like they're a team. And this is how you want to kind of show them on the site. Okay. Clinical photos and images. You want to think faces and smiles. You do not want to gross people searching out. So this is something that I found. So this you do not want to do. Showing ugly teeth or broken teeth, no blood, no cutting, nothing that's gross. Okay. Just like this guy here, he extracted a tooth, took a picture of it and showed it. You do not want to do this. Okay. So do not do this on your website. Highly do not recommend doing this. This is faces and smiles. So you can show the type of case it is. These were Invisalign cases, the before and after with their smiling faces. This is how you want to promote the work you're doing. So duplicate content or template sites. There's a lot of companies out there, and someone asked any recommendations on which company to use for website and SEO. I will throw out a name or two in a little bit, but there are many companies out there that charge $59, $79, $99 a month, and it's a duplicate content and site, which means the content is the same, and they're just changing very little information on there. That's a brochure. It's not going to help you rank higher. It's not going to help you get any special, inclusion in the way Google looks at you. It's just there. It's just a site. So I was giving the first workshop at the ADA meeting that was an online workshop where people bought their computers back in 2015. I'm just going to show you an example of this. So I was giving this seminar or giving this workshop, and I said, who wants me to look at their website? There were 35 people in the room, only 35 dentists. That's what it was limited to. And somebody raised their hand and this was their site. Okay. And somebody raised their hand and said, oh my God, I have the same exact site. So if of 35 people, 2 people had the same exact one, this is what theirs look like. The same exact thing. And if you go back and look, it says, when you visit our counter office, your smile is our top priority. That's the first line. When you visit our Brickworks Dental, your smile is our top priority. It is duplicate content completely. This is a little older slide, but I found another company very similar now. So I'm not going to tell you the company, but this is one of the offices. This is an office in North Carolina. Okay. Here's an office in California, in Palm Desert, California. And here's an office also in California, in LA area. All 3 of them have the same exact templated site, just a different picture. You do not want to do this. This will hurt your business online. You also don't want to make it difficult for your patients to reach out after the office or reach out to the office before and after hours. I mentioned to you in the previous one, you need to have some type of chat service. So again, this is the site. On the right-hand side is one chat. On the second side is another chat. There's 2 companies. Bird Eye has a chat, which is a web chat, and Simplify has a site, Simplify has a chat on the left side. One's live, one's a web chat. These are all ways that you can keep in touch with your patients before and after hours. And then not having your website ADA compliant. There's a big thing about this now. This is really important. So for those that are in the US, ADA is American Disabilities Act. It's not the American Dental Association, just so you know, but you need to have your website ADA compliant. Your website company probably should provide this to you, but if they don't, there's certain plugins that you can put on your site. It's like $49 a month. There's a company, which I'll show you the code in a little bit. The company is called Accessibility. They're one that does this for $49 or $59 a month. It's very inexpensive. So, and this is an article in the Dental Economics that showed that you can be sued if your website isn't ADA accessible. Okay. And you need to be in compliance with all these different sections of legislations. Now, the nice thing is, and you can see it on the bottom there, that there's an IRS code that allows you to take a tax credit up to a credit of $5,000 to make your website ADA accessible. So you're basically getting a write-off if you do it. That's the nice thing about it. So you need to have your website accessible for these types of limitations: blindness, motor mobility, color blindness, epilepsy, blurred vision, cognitive disorders, aging, and cataracts. So what it is, and these are those different compliances. I don't want to go into them all, but these are what you need to be compliant with. You've never heard of half of these anyway, but the important, this is what you have to be compliant with, and a bunch more. So the process is this: the company Accessibility puts a quick installation on your website. They install a single line of JavaScript code. The accessibility interface instantly appears on your website. They do the remediation on what has to be fixed for you. Within 48 hours, you're compliant. And then literally they have maintenance every 24 hours. The AI scans for new and revised content to fix. So this is all done for you. This is all artificial intelligence. There's nothing you as the business owner has to do. You just install the plugin on it. So the name of this company is, wrong way. The name of this company is Accessibility. Here's more information about ADA compliance. You can click on this, or scan this, I should say, and it will take you to their website to learn more about what they do for you. But this is very important, especially in the United States. You do not want to ignore this. I know offices that have been sued for up to $50,000 or targeting dentists who are not complying with the ADA compliance. So this is a real thing. Okay. So those are the things that you have to be focused on a website, is that you need to do those various things. Make sure you don't make those mistakes. You need to make an interactive site with lots of videos. That's my recommendation here. Once you have your website positioned, and by the way, if you have a website and you want to improve it or get a new website, you need to make sure you're visible and credible before you do that, or the website's going to give you zero return on investment. So we're going to move into the section where we're going to talk about how to generate online reviews and how to be found during local search. It's visibility and credibility. And this goes to what I was talking about. I've been practicing this type of marketing since 2012 in my practice. This was like 12 years in the making. It's called reputation marketing. It's building a 5-star reputation and marketing it to attract a ton of new patients to your practice. And as a fee-for-service practice, that's what I was doing. It was all about my reputation online, because consumers trust social proof reviews 12 times more than manufacturer description. And our main manufacturer description is our website. And the reason why people struggle with manufacturer descriptions is, look at this. Look at ads versus reality. Okay. When you go to a fast food restaurant, your food never looks this good. You always see the crappy stuff they put on the side. They barely put meat in your taco. They put barely any lettuce. The hamburger's not very good. So this is ads versus reality. And I know a lot of dentists who don't even use their own photos on their website. They're using stock photos to show off their cases. You've got to put your own cases on your website. But this is all this blurred vision that we're kind of promoting here. So you want to accept this truth that no one cares about what your marketing team has to say about your company. They care about what your patients have to say. So this is your happy patients. This is your sales and marketing team. So you have this unfair advantage, is you have these empowered patients who want to talk about you online. You have to give them the ability to do that, because it creates this. It creates trust. And if someone trusts you, they buy from you and they refer others to you. Okay. This is really important stuff. You have to gain trust with those patients, but you also have to be credible, as I mentioned. But I don't want you to confuse credibility and visibility. You need both of those things. Again, this is foundational. Doing what Anissa was talked to you about, these amazing funnels, these are great and they work really well, but long-term success is from getting visible and credible online, having Google do the marketing for you so you're ranking as high as possible. This is where you need to focus your attention on if you're not there yet. Visibility and credibility, you need both. If you're a credible practice but not visible, that's a problem, because nobody can find you. And then if you're visible so people can find you, but you don't have a lot of reviews, that's also a problem as well. You need both of these things. And as Warren Buffett said, it takes 20 years to build a reputation and 5 minutes to ruin it. If you think about that, you do things differently. But in the case of the internet, you can lose it in a nanosecond. I just spoke to an orthodontist office in Fort Worth, Texas. And there was an issue 5 years ago that came to light recently. And overnight, they went from 40 reviews, 5 stars, to 4 stars with 120 reviews overnight. Within 2 days, their reputation started to go downhill because of something that happened 5 years ago, again, that came to light now. So you have to be proactive in this, because today everyone is a publisher. We gave so much power to the patients when iPhone came out and Android came out and iPads came out. They could be sitting in your waiting room, waiting for you, running late, and they can go post a review about you online. So you have to take back this control. So again, as I said, you have to be proactive. It's very difficult to fix a damaged reputation. For every bad review you get, you need 10 positives, just so you know. So the first 10 reviews will protect you against a bad review. And I always like to say that you aren't an official dentist until you've received your first bad review. You haven't done enough dentistry. We're not perfect. So there are 2 steps I'm going to talk about when it comes to this online reputation-based marketing. Number 1 is getting found, which is visibility. And number 2 is being found in a compelling way, which is credibility. So how do you become more visible? How do you rank higher? And just so you know, we're talking about the map of Google here, the maps. We're not talking about the organic section below. We're talking on the map. So if you type in dentist near me, or cosmetic dentist in my town, or general dentist in my zip code, implants in my zip code, that's what we're talking about here. There's a map that's going to come up, and you want to be in that top 3. So something this is referred to as evaluating and claiming your local listings or your local citations. And obviously not type of citation we're talking about here. So what is the citation? It's a mention of your business name, address, and phone number on other web pages. There are local directories with that information on there. It's called the NAP, N-A-P, okay? And here's the thing. Google trusts these immensely. They're usually acquired through a registration process. But because all these sites have proliferated over the years, there's a lot of wrong information running around about your business. So if Google trusts this information, which they do, you need to make sure this information is consistent online, because if it isn't, you're not going to rank as high as you wish you would. Okay. So who is affected most by this? So if you just bought a practice within the last 5 years, changed the name and became the new owner, and nobody's fixed this, you will find wrong information about your practice. There'll still be your previous owner information on there. If you're a brand new startup and nobody did this for you, if you moved your practice recently within the last 5 years and nobody's updated the information online, this is where this information is going to be inconsistent. And if it's inconsistent, Google's not going to rank you on the first page of Google. So one of the questions I get all the time is, hey, Len, this dentist has far less reviews than me. Why are they ranking higher? This is a big reason why. I see this all the time. And remember, you're only as good as Google says you are. Okay. And if people can't find you, you're not going to be attracting those new patients unless you're spending it on other avenues. So this is like giving someone a business card with the wrong information on it, which you wouldn't do. So this is an older slide of this local search ecosystem. And it's older because it's Google plus local, which doesn't exist anymore. But the point is, you can see all of these sites talk to each other. And then all of these sites talk back to Google. So you need consistent information flowing from all the primary feeds all the way through. Now, this is the current landscape. This is what it looks like, just a little different way of looking at it. So you have the primary data aggregators. They all talk to all the different directories. All the directories talk to Google, Apple, and Bing, and you need consistent information on those pages. So you need to be in the circle of trust. If you're not in the circle of trust, Google doesn't rank you. It's as simple as that. So here are the rules. The name, address, and phone number must be exactly the same on each site in order for Google to recognize it. So you need to consider this. Are you street or ST? I'm in Florida, so Florida or FL. If you have a suite number, is it suite? Is it STE? Is it number? The and or and sign, Inc. or incorporated. These all things that you have to consider or Google has to look at. So you need to decide how you want to do it and then use a service that does this for you. So you can scan this code. This takes you to a website called Optimize Local, and you'll be able to put your information in here. Okay. It will tell you, and here's the information you want to put in. You want to put in your exact name that appears on your Google business profile, the exact name. If you have a middle initial and a period, put it in there. If you have an Inc. at the end, put it in there. Okay. If it's a combination of the practice name and your name, make sure it's all in there. Copy what's in your Google business profile. So name, address, and phone number. This will scan your business and tell you how consistent or inconsistent you are. So just to give you an idea, anything less than 30% is good. You want to be as close to 0% as possible. If you're orange or red, you're not looking good on here, and you're going to have a problem ranking. Now, people always say to me when I speak to them, well, I'm ranking in the top 3 in my map, and I scan them and they're on page 3, and they wonder why. You have to do a search in incognito or private browsing mode. You can't do a search on your phone as if you're searching for yourself, because Google knows who you are and they're always going to give preference to what you're looking for, which is yourself. So make sure you use private browsing mode or incognito mode when you do this. So how do you claim all of these sites? You don't. This is not a do-it-yourself job. You cannot do this yourself. Okay, you have to use a company, and there are companies that Bird Eye does this, but also Moz Local, Bright Local, Yext, Y-E-X-T is another company that does this. Sweet IQ, another company. So there's a number of companies that actually will do this for you. You just need to spend the money and get this done. This is an ongoing service. It's a monthly fee. It's not once and done. It doesn't exist like that. But this is a really important part to ranking visibly online. Okay? Just want to make sure you understand this. So why do you need to be more visible? It's because from position 1, you get 25% of the clicks. Position 2 gets 13% of the clicks. Position 3 gets 10% of the clicks, and anything below gets 2% of the clicks. You have to be on those maps. That's the most important thing. That's the visibility part of it. So the NAP, this consistency, is the key to ranking higher. So we talked about visibility. Now I want to review with you about credibility. So the secret here is that patient reviews are now one of the biggest factors in local search results. So one of the aspects is making sure your name, address, phone number is consistent. Once you've got that taken care of, you can start generating a ton of reviews. Once you add more reviews to your business, you will start ranking on the maps higher and you'll become more visible. It's visibility and credibility. That's the purpose here. So the rules you want them of a regular velocity within the last, you want a couple every week at least. You want them within the last 2 months, but ideally 2 weeks. And the studies show that 50% of the people don't think reviews older than 2 weeks are relevant any longer. You need fresh, consistent reviews. And you want to have a 4.5 to 4.9 star rating. And the reason that is because if you have all perfect reviews, you're not a perfect business. People are going to question the reviews that you're getting. So you can still have a 5-star rating, don't get me wrong. But if you want to click on the negative, you want to see at least a couple negative reviews there. It proves a business is real. But studies show that the perfect score is somewhere between 4.5 and 4.9. That's most trustworthy. Okay. So I think we all agree that you must collect reviews from your happy patients. But the first thing I want you to do is change that. I don't want you to ask for a review. I want you to ask for feedback about their experience. It changes the conversation with the patient. If someone's at the front desk, ask, hey, I hope you had a great experience. I would love for you to write a review about us. That sounds like you're begging for something, where the reverse is, I hope you had a great experience. I would love to get some feedback about your experience. It sounds different and it means a lot to the patients. Okay. So let's talk about some of the ineffective ways of generating reviews. So the first one is going to be the cheapest and most ineffective, but you can still try it. And I recommend everybody try it to see how difficult it is. And it's asking. You can ask patients till the cows come home to leave you a review. And everybody's going to say, I'm going to do it. Of course, I'll do it. I love your practice. And they very rarely do it. So for every 100 patients that you ask, you're lucky if you get between 3 and 5 reviews. So 3 to 5%. That's a very, very low number. You're going to get uber frustrated. You're not going to want to continue doing it. Your team's not going to want to continue to do it. These are some other examples. There was a card. Now, QR codes are back now, as I gave you a couple on here, but they're not as effective in generating reviews. But you can put one on the card and hand it to the patient. The card on the right-hand side on the bottom, you can put in a hygiene bag asking for a review. I think that's a waste. I don't think people really look at their hygiene bags much any longer. This card I love. So this was a card from a dentist in Tampa. You can actually see it says review us on Google Plus, so it's a little older. It says log into your Google account from a computer connected to the internet. Like you actually have to tell them to turn the computer on first. And it says navigate to this site, and it's a blue link. It's a blue clickable link. You can't click on a piece of paper. I just think it's odd how they created that card. And then there's all these different software programs. And I'm a proponent of using these softwares. You need something in your practice to communicate with your patients. But the problem is they don't really do a good job of generating reviews. So you've got RevenueWell, Lighthouse, Solution Reach, Demand Force. There's tons of these products out there, and they're all a vital part of running a practice. Okay. But RevenueWell puts reviews on the Connect 365 page. Lighthouse used to do Rate MDs. Solution Reach had their Smile Reminder page. Demand Force still has their Demand Force page. So they're not getting reviews ideally where you want them, which is on Google. But again, I love that you need a product like this. The product I recommend, just so you know, again, Dental Intel is our sponsor here, so I'll give them a little love. I love their Modento, which is their Engage product now. It's my preferred option. If you have Dentrix, EagleSoft, or Open Dental, I highly, highly recommend you see a demo of this product. Just see a demo. If you're using anything else, it will change the way you look at running your business. You can scan this code. They can do a demo. They'll know it's coming from me. They give you a little bit of a discount as well. Highly, highly recommend you take a look at this product. So I told you very early, I've been in the space since 2013 when it comes to generating reviews. So it's about 9 years now. I've asked thousands of patients over the years, why they don't write Google reviews. And this is like Family Feud. There are 8 listed here. You can read them. They're all here. 8 are here. There's one that's hidden. So these are some of the reasons I'd be giving. Now, just so you know, all of these combined is about 40% of the answer. There's one that you can't see that's about 60% of the time. So here are the reasons why. They don't have time. They forget. There are too many steps. Out of sight, out of mind. They don't know what to write. They don't know how to do it. So it's not the easiest thing in the world. They don't have a Google account. So just to be clear, in order to write a Google review, the patient must have a Google account or a Gmail account. You can't do it without. And they are not asked to write a review. So if you don't ask, you don't receive. So those are the, like I said, 8 answers with about 40%. There's one answer on here that is hidden that is by far and away the most. And that reason is they don't know their Gmail or Google password. And if you don't know the password, you can't write the review. And that's the big problem. Okay. So just to kind of tell you what we do, we're a mobile-based technology. We want to be mobile. We do some emails as well, but we're mobile because there's a 98+% open rate on text messages, and there are 84% of the text messages are open in 1 to 3 minutes. Okay. We automate the process of sending text messages because we don't want to really send as many emails because these are my patients. 94,000 unread emails and 113,000 unread emails. These are patients of mine who would never open up an email if I sent it to them. Now, when I give my live sessions in person with people, I have people take out their phones, open up their mail and see how many unread emails they have. This is something I've done for years. This was a dentist in one of my sessions. He had 636,000 unread emails. I got hives thinking about this number. Okay. I'm in inbox 0 all the time, but this person will never open up an email you send him. So focus on the text messages. He had 0 unread text messages because he's opening all his text messages up. So we're integrated with all these different platforms. There's a ton of them. We only don't integrate with like 2 or 3 of them, but this is a basic list of the ones we definitely integrate with. And we send a text message out after the appointment. So you'll see logo and team photo in the message. We ask for feedback about the experience. There's a link to Google or Facebook, or there's a red button that they can click on where we apologize. Please tell us how we can improve. And this is emailed back to the office. Okay. On an Android and iPhone, we show different messages. On the Android, we only show Google because we know the patient has a Google account on their phone and they can do a Google review very easily by clicking the Google button. On the iPhone, we give them both Google and Facebook because not all patients have a Gmail account. So we give them a second choice. Facebook, those that do have a Gmail account don't tell you they have Gmail most of the time. They give you their backup email. And they do that because they don't want to be spammed by the office. And third, I already mentioned to you, is that in order to do a Google review, you have to log into your Google account, which is a limiting factor because the patients don't know their password. So just in a jiffy here, you can see how easy it is for the patients to write the review. They click on Google, they scan their phone, and in one step, they're done. We log them in automatically, which is a very unique feature to us. And they write the review, they hit post and done, and you've generated another review. So by using, and there's other software companies that will do something similar, but the point is you need to use something automated that's going to get these reviews for you, because the combination of that visibility and credibility that I talked about will help you achieve what you want, which is a business that attracts lots of new patients because people can find you online and you look great when they're looking for you. So that's really easy. I just showed you it takes literally a minute for your patient to do it. This is not easy, but I use this. This is a company in Canada, and it says how to quickly and easily write a Google review, and it's 14 steps long. Like, that's not quick or easy, and I think you'd agree with that. So I'm going to finish up here with some conclusions. Again, I'm going to be a few minutes early so I can answer some questions. So no matter how much you spend on online marketing, if you do not pay attention to your reputation, the ROI will suffer. An interactive website is an absolute must. You must have videos. You must have call to actions on the website. You want to attract new patients with a well-established and maintained online reputation. Citation claiming is an important part of local SEO for visibility. Having both visibility and credibility creates trust. And you must have a reputation marketing strategy. Simple. You have to have some strategy to collect reviews from your patients. Now, once you start doing this, now the other things I didn't have time to talk about is once you have this foundation set up, really good website, visibility and credibility. You can do almost anything you want online and you will be successful. So doing what Anissa talked about with funnels and Facebook is great. Blogging is really important, again, for local ranking. Spending money on SEO, Google AdWords, and paid advertising, those types of things will really take off once you set up this foundation. And that's why I wanted to talk to you about this. So a couple of things for me. This is a list of my trusted resources. I have a page with about 30 of them. So I know that somebody asked about what my recommendations are, which company to use for website and SEO. They are on here. I have about 4 or 5 companies that I recommend. They're on this page. So I recommend you scan this, go to the page and check out the companies. They all have some of them have little videos so you can learn more about them, but this is where you can go for that information. I have a podcast called Raving Patients, comes out Fridays at 5 a.m. If you want to be a guest, please let me know. I love interviewing dentists, but you can scan this and you can actually subscribe to it so you can learn more about growing a business, which is what I teach you here. There's no sales in anything I do. I don't sell this type of stuff. I have a Facebook group as well called Raving Patients. Again, that's my brand online. This is a link to join that group. We just hit 4,100 people yesterday. I think as I checked before, we're at 4,101 now, but feel free to join. It's all about dealing with your reviews and growing your business online. I have 2 books. And if you want to message me, take out my contact information, let me know you want a free book and I'll send you a copy of this for free. This is the newest book, came out in March of this year, called 100 plus tips for generating 100 5-star reviews in 100 days. So that's one book. And the second book as well is called Raving Patients. I also have a copy of this I can send you. This is my first book, came out in 2019, but it's still relevant now. If you scan this code, you can buy it, but I'll send you free copies if you want it. I'm offering to the people that, just like Anissa threw something out there, I do free consulting for attendees of my seminars. You can scan this code. It will take you to this drlentau.com/dymo, DYMO, dominate your marketing online. It will allow you to set up an hour of time with me. Once I receive this, I'll send you an email to set up the time, and then we can go over anything you want related to marketing. That's my give back to the people. Oh, hello. I just lost the presentation. Sorry about that. That was weird. And then here is my actual contact information. So my email, my cell phone number, all of my contact information is on here for you. And I'm happy to spend time with you talking about anything you want marketing related. And as I always end these sessions, I want you to remember that your reputation matters. I appreciate your time. I'll answer questions and then we'll toss it back to Lisa so she can finish everything up. So questions wise, any recommendations on which company to use for websites and SEO? Like I said, you can see it on that page. My preferred #1 company by far, his name is Evan Lazarus. He's with a company called Simple Impact Media. He's amazing at SEO, and you can find his information in that page. The name of the companies for chat, Bird Eye is one of the chat companies that I use because I work for them. But the other company we used was a company called Simplify. Simplify is a live chat. Somebody is on their side live chatting with the patients. The web chat would be someone that you're chatting with. Oh, hi, Anna. How you doing? Anna's on there. Anna, Modento told me to stick with Bird Eye versus using my rep felt it was better as their work was wonky. Have they fixed this as I started with? No, you're never going to, Modento is never going to have a system like compared to Bird Eye. That's why I talk about Modento, because their system is never as good as what Bird Eye is going to be. And then Dory said, best podcast, listen to tips in our huddles all the time. That's great. I love that. Thank you for that. I appreciate that, Dory. So if you want to check out the podcast, please do. Does anybody have any other questions? I hope I filled your few hours with a lot of actionable items. Please feel free to reach out to me. I'm always giving away my time to speak with dentists out there. That's what I've dedicated my career towards as I exit clinical dentistry. So wonderful presentation. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.